Hi everyone and welcome along to today's quick fix. We're going to do a fun little experiment with some salt because I'm sure you've seen when watercolour reacts with various things such as salt, you can get some really fun effects. So I'm just wetting my page here with the mop brush, and then I am going to create a little bit of a skyscape. So here's some cadmium yellow, some cadmium orange, and then I'm also going to get a bit of Paynes Grey in there. And we want this to be really nice and wet because we're going to add some salt. So whilst the page is still wet, I've got some crushed up sea salt here, which what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle in little clusters in little sort of circular clusters onto the wet colour. And the aim is that we're going to create some dandelion clocks. Put one down here as well. So the salt is going to react, and I think what I want to do is just have a few sprinkles of maybe the dandelion clocks just kind of blowing off in the wind. Okay, so we just need to let that sit there, do its thing, and allow it all to dry naturally. But you can already see how the salt is absorbing the colour on the page, and so it's sucking up the colour and removing it from the page, leaving us with a sort of unpainted space. Wow, so that's dried, and then I've just been, with a completely dry brush, gently getting rid of the salt. This is so cool. Oh, I love this. So now we can turn this into something. So I'm going to take my size 2 brush and get a little bit of yellow ochre, bit of sap green, and I'm going to begin by placing a little centre in my dandelion clocks. Just kind of bleed that down a little bit. Still a little bit of salt on the page, so that's kind of fun in a way. And then I'm going to just use a bit more of this colour with a tiny bit of Paynes Grey in it to just sort of define the bottoms of these dandelion clocks. So I want to sort of bleed that down into it. I just love how this is like transformed yet again it's like introduced a whole other way of painting with watercolour. It's just the coolest medium ever. So just helping sort of define that shape. I mean, you could do it so that you've painted it on like a fairly strong dark wash behind, and you don't, like this one here, you could almost get away with just sort of leaving it and not needing any stuff, but I quite like, because I am a painter at heart, I like to just make things even more sort of, I don't know, even more detailed, or even capture the essence just a little bit further. Just like to push things really. Okay, so I'm just going to get these painted in and then we can finish off the piece. Okay, so to finish off, I'm just going to get some Paynes Grey and some Sap Green. And the rigger brush. And I'm just going to paint in some stems and very much make the most of the fact that we've got that wetness there in the piece already. And yeah, I just think that's a really fun experimental approach to painting nature, because that's what we love to do on this channel. Whoops, get that last bit off. So yeah, I just taped it down so that it would not move about and minimize the warp, but also just have a lovely crisp edge to the end. So that's your quick fix for this week. I hope you enjoy having a go playing around with watercolour and a little bit of salt.